we're having a reason because this topic of immigration is hot in the air at the moment, and we're trying to just dissect the the phenomenon of immigration and its effects on both sides, the people where the place where they're immigrating from and the places where they immigrate to, and the effects on these different places and why we think this is the case. So Okavongo had a stipulation. I think I'll let him say what his stipulation is, and then we can start the reasoning from there.
The observation of why immigrants seem to strive when they immigrate to anywhere at all. Is in within a country or outside of a country. Immigrants tend when human beings move from one area to a next area, they tend to strive better than the era that they grew up in or were born in. You know what I mean? That's a reason why we think this is this phenomenon happening all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So your observation is that these people who are described as immigrants, you're observing that whenever they go to these countries, they seem to excel, or if we don't want to use the word excel, they seem to improve their conditions, whether economically, educationally, on a skills level, whatever the case may be. But you're saying that predominantly you see improvement, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yaga, what do you think about that observation?
You see, a lot of times when we frame things, we frame it on the ideologies that we have been exposed to, whether it is political, economical, cultural, or spiritual. And if we take it back in time and look at what existed before colonialism, we will get to have an idea of the context of what we know, believe in, and what we think know is basically an illusion, but yet still we hold on to these identity. And as Curly Locks would say, these things influence our decisions rightfully or wrongfully, but a lot of time it is misguided because ones are not holding on to their own identity and their own truth. The point I'm trying to make here might be a long-winded one, but it's worthy to bring this conversation forward and have this as part of the conversation. See, before colonialism, Africa have a patrilineal, and matrilineal society where we believe that the community is one and everyone is a part of that community, whether by marriage, whether by clan, or whether by social norms. And everything that we do was a part of that. See? Now, fast forward to what exists today, which is like an individualistic society. Everyone have to pull and move for themselves. So you find say a man we set out to go look work in the city because there's no job in the rural area, there's no job in the countryside or a certain region of a country. So you have to push out. And the fact that you have to push out to go and look your own tea bread, it means that you have to evolve and you have to adapt to what is going on. And normally, a lot of what you know are a part of you that exist based on where you're coming from in that matrilineal or patrilineal society where everybody looks after the village. It's a complete village. Seeing, as them saying at the spirit of Ubuntu, we don't find them thing that exist. So the need to survive and the need to adapt becomes greater. So people do what they have to do to survive. And sometimes it results in people achieving as society prescribed they should achieve and do as they should do based on what society has said, whether it is right or wrong.
Okay. Well, my view is this, right? Um, Colonialism play a great role in this um phenomenon of immigration, right? Because what colonially what happened to the planet was that a particular group of people, a particular group of people um decided that they want to control the vast majority of the resources of the planet. And in order to do that, they set out on a deliberate mission to physically take over lands, peoples, resources, and not only that, but to relocate a great number of people around the globe in order to satisfy their labor needs, right?
And these, you have to bear in mind that these ideologies was based on white supremacy and resource extraction.
Mhm. All right. So now, what that resulted in is that a lot of the places on the planet that had resources which would have they been left to develop themselves properly, these places would have been able to sustain their own development. They would have been able to manage themselves properly, and there would not be such a great need for migration, right? But as a result
Well on
of
them, man.
this,
Dada, migration are going long before colonization, man. People has been migrating forever. Human beings have been migrating forever as long as there was human beings. And what my thing I say, when people migrate, they tend to do better. And my thing is it become like an innate thing, I think inside people where them just once the opportunities kind of dried up in an area, they move to a next year and they strive. Remember, if we are going by humanity begins in Africa, that means that people that start out them journey in Africa end up in other places all over the earth. And we have seen where people have migrated from Africa into the world and create all kind of culture, all kind of societies and strive. And that's what we are talking about. And even in this time now, we see people are moved from um places that we call countries now and going to other countries and striving. So what about
all right. So where I'm approaching it from, I'm approaching it from post colonialism, right? So if we want to go pre-colonialism, it wasn't considered colonialism in that time. It was called imperialism. You understand? Where people were going around and setting up what they call empires. They were setting up dynasties. But it's the same ideology where you go into these places, take over people's resources, take over people's land in order to make your land or your place the dominant one. So when they called it
Bef-
imperialism,
before colonial
yes,
um
before
no man, but
colonization,
me not talk about that. Me talk when people just a travel here.
right? So I'm
And
saying,
now take over the land, them just go on some land where human being a depend.
right. So I'm saying to you, right? We're talking no post-colonialism, right? So where I said this has happened in the earth. This major action has happened in the earth, and what it has resulted in, it has dictated, right, certain political policies that now create this phenomena, what we refer to today as immigration, right?
And
Because of
urbanization.
right, because of what has happened in terms of the stealing of people's resources. A lot of countries now, in order for them to attain this standard of living that they desire, the only options a lot of them see is to migrate to another place where has these opportunities or resources. And that's why we see this happening, right? Because if you think about it, if you speak to someone who is considered an immigrant and you ask them, why did you immigrate? Why did you choose to make this move, this particular move? I would think the vast majority of people would say, in order to access opportunities, are greater opportunities. Understand? And the reason why there's a need for people to access greater opportunities is directly a result of colonization. Because had colonization not happened, these countries would have had resources that would have been able to sustain their people.
And that so okay, so let's take it back. That's why I'm saying that cannot be the only thing that why people are migrating. People were migrating long before colonization, long before long before empires. People were migrating. That's why people could have even said them a create empire because people migrated out of where they out of Africa. That's why we use
Mm-hmm.
Africa. They
Mm-hmm.
migrate out of Africa into Europe and then them come back as
Mm-hmm.
colonizers. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying people have been migrating for a long time.
So let me ask you a question then. Right? Speaking of this um original or ancient form of migration, right? What do you think were the reasons for those people to migrate?
People migrate because maybe of the expansion of human the expand the place where they are, the population get overpopulated and they
Mm-hmm.
move to find new resources, or the
Mm-hmm.
resources that they have in that area dried up,
Mm-hmm.
so they move on to another place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
So
we could
they're
summarize
always
that
looking for new way to survive
opportunities.
opportunities. Yeah.
Right.
Survival opportunities.
So this is what we're saying, that primarily, whether it was pre-colonialism or post-colonialism, the fundamental reason why we see people immigrating is in search of opportunities or greater
Yeah, so I
opportunities.
said the
Right?
opportunity that wasn't created by
But we're
colonization,
but we're
but
saying
people
currently,
has been doing that.
right, but we're saying currently, colonialism has played a direct role in the phenomenon of immigration, because the reason why a lot of people are migrating in the numbers they're migrating is because they are in search of greater opportunities.
Which can be as a result of destabilization,
Of
which
course.
can be a result of wars and all sorts of sanctions that are imposed on different countries. So people are gonna migrate
Yes.
looking for that American dream or that European dream, which they think will be the solution to their problems.
No, I think the creation of countries make people make we look funny the way there. But me I said, but me I try to say, if there wasn't any colonial colonization,
Colonization, people would still be
people will
migrating.
still be migrating.
Hmm.
You
But
understand?
that's why I went to the point of saying to you as well that we refer to it today as colonization, right?
Mm-hmm.
But before colonization, it was called imperialism. Before
Before that,
imperialism,
people was
bef-
migrating.
before imperialism, it was called the establishment of dynasties.
Before that, people
You
were
understand?
migrating.
So what we're saying to you, what I'm saying is this: as long as, right, as long as people have been moving, the primary reason why they're moving is for access or greater access to opportunities, primarily for the purpose of survival.
Yeah.
Right?
So
So
I mean, I said that they can't use imperialism and colonization as the reason why they move, why people are
no,
move.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm
So why you
saying
mentioned then there?
because today, in the history that we have experienced on the earth today, we can see, right? We can see where, as a result of these practices, imperialism, colonialism, a lot of the resources around the earth have been taken from certain places and redistributed unfairly into other places. And as a result of that redistribution, you find now that people now are trying to move to these places in order to gain access to the opportunities that comes with that.
I mean, if I miss my point,
I'm not missing your point.
I'm saying, but may I say, if people were moving before all these things happen,
Mm-hmm.
imperialism, dynasty, whatever, and they are
Mm-hmm.
still moving, you cannot
Mm-hmm.
blame something will happen after. You can't blame imperialism. You can't blame that immigration because it was happening before and it's still happening. So that means that that didn't have an effect on people moving.
So you're saying that colonialization did
I
not have an
think
effect on immigration.
it is the other way around where because of the colonies now, they are trying to stop people from moving. They create these countries and want to stop people from moving, but people keep moving and they call them immigrants and give them a kind of bad reputation. But
So
people
I'm
have been
But
asking
moving
you,
forever.
all right,
I'm asking you, do you are you
hold
saying
on there.
that colonization does not have an effect on immigration?
But there, hold on there. Before we move
No.
on to the point, me could clarify one little point here. See,
Yeah.
because when a certain people move, they call them immigrants. But when a next certain group of people move, they refer to them as expats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you see the distinction. They are all moving in different directions, but they use different names to describe it. And that is a clear sign that colonialism plays a part in the movement of people, and it have a big impact in the movement of people, especially in
I don't
this
think
dispensation.
yeah, Yaga, I don't think that it plays a part. It does that because of racism, them call them different names. But it does show us that everybody move. Even
But
the one where say
racism
them are,
again is a product of colonialism.
eh? What?
Racism again is a product of colonialism.
No, we're talking about the name that them call them though.
Right. So we're
They
saying you're
call
saying
people
it's
that
as a result
move
of racism.
immigrants.
You're
Huh?
saying it's as a result of racism.
That's why they call them that name.
Right. And I'm saying to you that racism is a
Mhm.
product of colonialism.
Yeah, but that we're talking about immigrants where people are happened before colonies were created.
So I go to the question when I asked them, and I said to them, I say, are you saying that colonialization does not have an impact on immigration?
It doesn't have an impact in saying that it make people a move because people were moving before that. What it does, because of colonies and people create countries and borders, it tries to stop people from move.
So you're
But,
saying you're saying colonialization tried to stop people from
stop
moving.
people from moving,
So
yeah.
how would you explain the slave trade then?
Me, me don't know how that have to do with colonization.
Slavery was a
The
product of
biggest movement of
Immigrants.
people
colonization.
across the
Yeah, but
Atlantic.
what have to do with people are moved though?
Because a lot of
Those
people
are
were moved
slavery is
during the
people being
slave trade.
forced to move. Me don't know how it
Right. So what I'm saying, if you're trying to stop people from moving, right, why would you implement something like a slave trade if you're trying to stop people from moving?
that
Hmm.
people used to move freely
You're saying the
to
same
where they
thing, but you're not
want to
responding
move.
to what I'm asking.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
slavery is a total different thing where people were forced to move to work on plantations. Me don't know how but we are called immigration.
No, you're saying to us that colonization was an attempt to stop the movement of people.
No, no, that's not what I'm saying. I said colonization help prevent people from moving because now when them create them countries and create them colonies, now they that country is Nigeria, this country is England, and
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians, England don't want to let in Nigerians in them country.
Mm-hmm.
While normally Nigerians could have just moved to where they feel like it's best for them to survive, or what them call Nigeria.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's how people used to
So,
move. Anywhere them feel like say, okay, this is the place for me to survive, they will just move there.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was also there was also a need to mark out their territory also since the Berlin Conference of 1884.
But what I'm saying, colonization make them and because colonization make them start draw borders now and say, okay, here, here is America, that's is England, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can come in into America or England,
Uh, unless you meet certain requirements.
whatever reason.
No, no reason. I'm saying the only way you can come
Yeah,
in is you have
me
to
I say whatever,
meet
but me I say that's
certain
what happened. That's
requirements
what
to
happened.
come
Them
in.
draw them
Colony,
lines. Them draw them lines and say, okay, yeah, so is name yes, so yes, name yes, so, and you
Mm-hmm.
can come over here. So you know what I mean?
Right.
And
Unless
them
you
set up
meet
them
certain
criteria.
requirements.
Yeah.
and
Unless you
colonists
meet
were
certain
able to
requirements.
move.
So that now is what people describe now as immigration. Whether you meet the requirement or not to move, this is what is described as immigration.
Yeah. Immigration, people
Mm-hmm.
immigration in a different. You can also immigrate in your own country. You can migrate in your own country. You can people are migrating from New York in numbers going south because New York is it's get too expensive and in fact them can't survive in New York. So they might look other places to survive.
Mm.
Texas is one of the fastest growing states in America
Mm-hmm.
because people are migrating.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I said people always are migrate and look better life all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
People are always migrating from Jamaica, from the countryside of Jamaica to the cities of Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to go
If
to
you look at
the
yeah, on a micro level, it happened within each
yeah
country,
man,
it
everywhere
happened
it
within
happen.
region,
In a
and it
China
happened.
now, in a China, people are migrate from the countryside and are going to the city them. People have always been migrating no matter what I say, I look better life. So
Yeah,
it's
but
not a
we
country
already
thing or
established why they do that.
why people are migrate
They're looking
from China.
for job
For
because
greater access to opportunities. We already said that.
Right. So you
Hmm.
know, if you do no colonization,
It does have to do with colonization.
yeah,
It
because
does have
Otto
to do
Bongo
with
is looking at it
colonization.
within countries, not looking at it from a Pan African perspective. Because if you look at it from a Pan African perspective and why Africans and people in the African diaspora are moving, these are some of the reasons why they are moving. It's as a result of the conditions that has been created in their economy. It as a result of the destabilization in their economy. And as we said, they are looking for a better life because job opportunities will be more in the city than within the countryside.
yeah. So that are all Chinese in
Hmm.
China, people
Hmm.
migration in China,
Hmm.
but all that of all colonization affect that.
China was colonized.
No, better me not accept me ask you, me say, oh what role colonization have to play with people migrating now in China in in state migration.
So again, Master Tia said China was colonized.
I
So
me hear you.
once a place has been colonized,
Mm-hmm.
colonization go play a direct result in any
So I say, what's
decisions
the
they
role? I mean,
make
I'm saying,
moving
what's the role in
forward.
play? What's the role in play? What's the role it play in it?
Me not understand the question where you say.
So once the place colonized, people don't start move.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying once a place was colonized,
Mm-hmm.
the act of being colonized is going to have a direct impact on anything that place does moving forward.
and what our colonization caused people in China is now to be moving to the city.
That no, as Yaga says, on a micro level, right?
It's not
So
micro. Millions of people.
right, but when you put it on a global scale, it's a micro level, right? Because you're speaking about people in China moving from the rural areas to the
Within
urban
country.
areas, right? From the rural areas to the urban areas. That is a global phenomenon because what happens is in the urban areas, they have created the greater access or the easier access to opportunities in the
The
urban areas.
ecosystem,
In
it
the
is more
rural areas,
industrialized.
right, in the rural areas, so therefore people just are moving on those ways to gain access to those opportunities,
You still
right?
didn't say colonization is causing that.
Because the system which establishes these urban areas is a direct model of colonization. The
Dada.
fact that we have areas that we call urban areas and areas that we call rural areas is a direct result of colonization.
No man, how can where you that from, man?
So in a colonization, right? In a
Yeah.
colonization, what them create when them come and say them are colonize these places? What them
So
create?
so before colonization, we never have rural areas and urban areas. We never have cities and we never have city and area people live in a city.
We have
Before
villages.
before
You have village
colonization.
and you always have villages, but you always have markets and towns and places we call it city now.
Hmm,
Yeah.
right. So wait a say. Colonization affect that.
And I can create that. And I create that.
All right. So let me ask you a question now. See? So 'cause to me, it seemed like you try to say colonization does not have an effect on this problem of migration, what we are talking about today. That's the understanding I'm getting from it, right?
I am
So
saying
mhm.
colonization didn't create migration. People have been
I didn't
migrating
say
long.
that. I didn't say that. I'm
So where is it?
saying, I'm saying post-colonially, I'm saying the result, most of the migration will happen right now, colonization play a direct result to that. That's why I say post-colonial and pre-colonial. I'm go to the point as well as saying the same ideology what established colonialism. It was called imperialism before. It was called the establishment of dynasties before. That ideology has always existed in mankind. So as long as they've been doing that, they've been trying to take people resources, take people land, do all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So that ideology exists from time immemorial. It may not have been called colonialism in the time. It may not have been called imperialism in the time. It may not have been called the establishment of dynasties in that time. But that ideology, that human ideology, has existed forever.
Dada, when the Bantu people were traveling from south to east or wherever they were travel,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't colonization. That was people migrating,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it happened
Yeah,
all
but
it doesn't
So
happen
so
up in one places.
as they moved, they took over people's places, right?
Which people there were it was
What
no people there.
what means that
There
there
was
was
no
no people
people, it
there?
was just land.
So it was just land. So they
And
go and they took over these
that's
land.
how people migrate
Mm-hmm.
over time. That's how
Mm-hmm.
they migrate from Africa to Asia to South America
Mm-hmm.
to North America. That's how people
Mm-hmm.
migrate,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Colonization when people come back and start take over land and we know all the crimes of
Colonization.
colonization. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
different because different type of colonization because
Mm-hmm.
I thought we have the empire then with them used to
Mm. We
we know, we
understand,
know, we know the history. We know the history, right?
but we say that ideology
Mm-hmm.
transcend through history. In this
But
in
but
this
I'm
dispensation of
saying
history, we call it colonization.
people were moving and still were
Before
moving
that,
in this time. People
right,
always a move. Even when
right.
they create these dynasty and these cities, people
Mm-hmm.
still are moved to them place there for the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. So people
Right,
always a move and look a better
right,
life,
right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So them thing they never create people moving. or cause people to move.
We
People
never
just
say it
move
did.
because people want to move because people other look better life.
And opportunities.
Right. You
Right.
understand? So
See.
we can't you can't blame that no colonization on people moving now.
All right.
What that
Let me put it this way then. See? Before, when people were just moving, right? In comparison to the numbers of people that were moving before this initial stage of migration, as you have described, right? And currently, the numbers are vast different, right? The
we
numbers
get
are vast difference.
what they
You have
but we
way more people moving today than then.
but yeah, we have more people now than then.
Right. So what I'm saying is, right, you cannot exclude the effect of colonization on immigration. And we can see that because we can check the numbers because they keep stats on these things. We can check the numbers of people in terms of where they are moving from. So those that move from the global south to the global north, you can see that you have a greater number in that direction,
Mm-hmm.
right? As opposed to people moving from the global north to the global south. So you
Mm-hmm.
can see the disparity in the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're saying that in and of itself is a direct result of colonization. So
So
even
we
though
Not
people were
migration.
immigrating before,
so well on you know. So
mm-hmm,
yeah, so where they are so that is it, where they are moving to is an
mm-hmm,
effect of colonization. But them moving is not an effect of colonization.
it is an
Because
effect
they
of
were moving
colonization.
that they were moving all the while. People were always moving. But where
I
they're
don't I
moving to
don't know what
now,
else to say, bro.
but that are people but it's a fact, people are always moving.
We already agree on that.
So we don't this one we are saying no. If
Mhm.
colonization never happened, everybody that just stop and now move,
No, that's not what I'm
No,
saying.
See,
That's
no,
not
come
that
on,
what I'm
another
say.
sort of
saying. That's
reason
not
So
in
what
there.
I'm
so so
saying.
Another
we
sort of
don't
reason in there.
with
That's not what
colonization
I'm saying.
or without colonization, people would have still have a move. The
Yeah,
effect of
but
them have
in
now,
this,
the thing is people are moving to certain countries now because of colonization.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But on the colonization make them move. They don't move anywhere at all. Any because they move them people has always been moving.
yeah, but in this time, yeah, we can clearly see that had an impact on the movements of people,
Major
not only
impact.
within country,
Major.
but on a global and regional stage where we see different alliances being formed as a result, and people are taking on different ideologies as a result of all of this, which is causing a lot of tension in the world in this time. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So my thing is because we have now these borders, people are called place them country. I know them put up, I mean, you have to have
Mm.
passport and visa to enter these places.
Requirement.
And
You have a lot of
that's
requirements you
the
have to
only
meet.
reason why where we are talking about immigration.
That's the only
Because people
reason.
are lock out people from enter places with them to seek better opportunities. Because
Mm.
first people just go a place wherever the opportunity is, then just go
Mm.
there.
So why are they locking? Why are they locking them out from access to their opportunities?
So
They are less desirables.
because them feel like say
What
people
the
are
name
come,
Hillary Clinton use?
it's the same thing, That now we can attribute to colonization and them going into country before, stealing them stuff, and then now them feel like that people want to come back and steal for them whatever them have.
Which is not necessarily the case that people want to come and steal, but people are moving towards a greater opportunity
Uh,
because of the system that they leave in place that leave their country impoverished, that destabilize them country. So people are
Mm.
looking towards a greener past. And a lot of times when you move to these greener pastures as an economic migrant because that's what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
We're all economic migrants because we're looking to put a roof over ourselves. We're looking for that stability that the world says that we need to have. We're looking to take care of our own family. You find say it destabilize the whole family unit
Fire. The driving
looking for it.
primary drivers for immigration, right? Economic opportunity, family reunification, and security issues, right? These are some of the primary drivers for immigration. See? So, what we have seen created as a result of colonization is that the global south, you use the word destabilized, right? Has been drastically destabilized economically, security wise,
Politically.
right? So people now are saying, listen, we got to get out of this situation. We have to get somewhere where we can have access to our basic human needs, right? The reason why you feel like you do not have access to your basic needs is directly a result of colonization. It's
Let's look
directly
at
a
some.
result of it.
Yeah, Dada.
Mm,
So we know that like the West, right?
mm-hmm,
Because of colonization,
mm-hmm,
the them rape the global south, them rape Africa, Asia, right?
mm-hmm,
Carry all the resources and them not
mm-hmm,
share them not share them technology or share them ideas. So
Innovations.
so innovations, right? That's the right word. With with the South, right?
mm-hmm,
And so the development in the West kind of different from the South. So
mm-hmm,
people now are try migrate to them place there to get them opportunity there
mm-hmm,
because the opportunities them see, you know what I mean, and even the financial system, by the way,
mm-hmm.
where whatever them create is more expensive than or is more valuable than whatever is created in the South,
And that's
right?
another effect of colonization again.
Right.
Mm,
And so what may I say? People are moved because they move the opportunity them to them place there. So people are go
mm-hmm,
anywhere, them see the opportunity. Anywhere the opportunity there that they might go. And know the opportunity there where people are say the best way for them survive in the West. But
mm-hmm.
I'm saying even without colonization, people would have been moving
We agree
anywhere the
with that.
opportunity is.
We agree with that.
Yeah, so me I say I never
But just as you're
them
saying to
now move
Okavango,
because they were colonized, they are moving because of the opportunity.
right? So I'm saying to you, right? Just like you were saying before, where you say
Mm.
people are moved before, what we are saying is that because of colonization, you have more people are moved now, as
There's
opposed to if there was no colonization, right?
you have to find the
And that's
average
the
for that.
point that we're
You have to,
making.
find the average for that.
Hmm?
People move from Africa and cover the globe, the entire globe.
Mm,
So you have to find the average for that.
mm.
What was that immigration or migration?
I know what they call now. I know the right word.
It would have been migration. Migration are the movement. Immigration are where
Yeah,
you go from one to the other, from one country to the
yeah.
other.
Okay. So
You
so
see my
so
answer?
so people have been migrating.
Mm. No, we're not. That's why we tell you we're not in opposition to that. We agree with that. What we're
But
saying is that colonization has played a direct role
into where people are
in this
moving to now.
phenomenon of immigration, and that's what we're saying.
No, it's a direct road into where people are moving. People
Right.
um choice of movement now. Maybe the majority. Maybe more people and move, especially if we get about African people and
Mm-hmm.
Asian people. Most of
Mm-hmm.
them are moved to the
Global
west.
North.
To the
So
yeah.
it based on geographical location because, for example, and alliances also because remember those countries that was formerly under Britain are ruled by Great Britain, Britannia. They would have moved towards Great Britain and their respective colonizers because they would get preferential treatment in
Mm-hmm.
moving to these countries. Because remember, I know it was in the early 2000s Britain started requiring visa from certain countries to enter Britain because of different issues that they were having with immigration and immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
But more stick to the root of the discussion, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The discussion is why people tend to strive when they move or become when they migrate to other countries. Them
And
and this has been throughout history. It's not
so
after colonization or before it's been
mm,
right through history. People strive when them migrate, right?
mm.
Yeah.
So why is that?
I mean, I said because people have been my thing is because people have been migrating so long, them have this urge when them in a one new place, a one new country or new environment, they have an urge to survive, and it
Mm.
helped. That's why I say the biggest companies them in America is created by immigrants. The innovation, I mean, most likely a new business is most likely to be created by an immigrant than somebody who born in the country. And this is all over the world. Anywhere immigrants go, they create new things. They bring new businesses. They create a lot of things.
New
Mm.
ideas, new
Yeah.
ideas.
Well, my realms when I look on that, right, in terms of an explanation as to why that is, it starts primarily from the mindset of the people, right? The fact that you're going to make a decision that you want to move, relocate from one place, you're going to uproot from your comfort zone and go into another comfort zone in search of greater access to opportunity, right? So you already have a mindset
Not
that
a
I
comfort
want,
zone, it's an unfamiliar zone.
right, right.
Yeah.
So you have already have a mindset that you want
To make
access
it.
to opportunities, right? So when you go somewhere now where you are now seeing, because remember, say you're already searching for access now, that's why you're moving. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
wasn't searching for the access, you would stay where you were. So you're searching for it. So when you go now and you find an opportunity or you find access to an opportunity, then you're going to grab at it because you're already looking for that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that there is greater access to opportunities in these places where they migrate to. When they migrate to these new places, they have easier access to opportunities. And as a result of having easier access to opportunities, right, they are now able to achieve a lot of the stuff that they desire to
Is
achieve.
it easier
Why do you think?
Is it easier
Why?
access?
Hold on, okay, Congo. Before you
Okay.
move, why do you think they have greater access and easier access to things in these regions?
As a direct result of colonization.
Dada, you said they have easier access,
Mm-hmm.
but as I mentioned before, I think they call them the Fortune 5, what do you call them? Fortune
Fortune
companies,
500.
500.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said the top five, the top five, not the top seven, yeah, five immigrants create them.
Mm-hmm.
It is factual that they say a immigrant is more likely, 80% of them are
Mm-hmm.
likely to create a business than somebody who was born in a country. That
Mm-hmm.
means someone living in that country with that same with the same resources,
Mm-hmm.
right? Same
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. An
Mm-hmm.
immigrant is more likely to create something or innovate something than them. That's what we're talking about.
So that would speak now to the mindset.
Okay.
So the first thing that I mentioned in terms of these people performing better is their mindset, that they're already in a mindset of saying, I am searching for an opportunity to do something to change my experience.
I will
The
Yeah.
not take this
person,
opportunity for granted.
once I find it, I'm going to take advantage of that. The person who is there, who is not in that mindset, who is not thinking about um creating a business or a thing,
Mm-hmm.
because in their mind, their experience, their condition is adequate. You have people that the only thing they want to do is, if they even go to work, even if they even go to work, they just want to know that they make some money, that them can buy a beer, to have a cup of beer in the evenings, sit down by the fire, put something on the grill,
Mm-hmm.
and to them that is a fulfilled life. But a next person who has a mindset now that, listen, I am not satisfied with my life and the condition of my life, and I wish to have a greater access to opportunities where I can do other things, they're going to be in a, it's like they're in a, like when a sprinter you have different phases of a sprint, right? So you have a phase what them call the drive phase, where you know, so that's when them get the greatest acceleration. That person who have that mindset, so they're going to move to get access to these immigration, these opportunities. When they get access to it, them gone in at the drive phase now. Them gone in at the drive phase because them say, what? This
Yeah.
is what I've been looking for all along.
So why immigrants
Mm-hmm.
tend to have this mindset than and the local don't have this mindset?
It's because
Again,
of their experience.
yeah.
No,
It's
but
because of their
you
lived
have
experience. No,
we have
because
people, well, Yaga, you have, let me say this first. You have people while them in their own environment or own country or whatever them is, them never have this mindset. And
Mm-hmm.
as soon as they go to another country, then this
Mm-hmm.
mindset kick in.
them out of them
Because
comfort zone.
not just the comfort zone, the experience again, the lived experience again. Because now when you move to this location, you don't have somebody where you can go to and say, brother, beg your breadfruit now. I beg you some ackee now.
They get to
No,
solve.
you know how you have a responsibility now of providing all your human needs, your basic human needs. And even if in the offset you are in a situation where you may have the support of, because you came to families or friends, right? You may have their support for a moment. Eventually you're going to have to stand up on your own and go about securing your basic human needs on your own. So know that you're in a situation where you have to do that now. You have to. You're not given a choice anymore. You have to.
You
Because,
cannot become
because
complacent.
I have seen people the opposite, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
I've seen an American, right? Like an
Mm-hmm.
American
Mm-hmm.
leave America, go to Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
create a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a Jamaican leave Jamaica, come to America and create a business. And guess what? The business is the same business.
Mm-hmm.
That means the American could have created it in America and the Jamaican could have created it in Jamaica, the business.
But all the needs for that to happen weren't met. So I guess that's why it didn't happen. And as me I said earlier on, the reason why I said, when you migrate and you go to a different country, you are apart from your extended family and that support net where you
Yes,
have
sir.
everyone playing a role within that family. And you can call upon grandma or auntie or uncle to give an eye upon your son because you just gone to work or you gone to market, and that would be okay. You don't have that safety net anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you're out there. You have to push. You have to drive because now you become probably the breadwinner of your family because someone in that family was looking for that break, looking for that opportunity to go overseas. And the break came. So you just have to keep your head down and do that which is necessary to keep you afloat so that you are able to do the things that you want to do.
Yes, sir.
The way what I think about migration, right? I think migration is something that every human being should experience. I think migration teaches you migration enlightens you. And I think that's why you see people who migrate, you know what I mean? They have like more knowledge. Someone who travel and go to and experience different culture, different people, they have more knowledge and
Well,
they
they said
can.
traveling is the greatest form of education too, innit?
Okay, so I think that with these people countries setting up these borders and stopping people from coming to their country is a disservice even to that country, because we are seeing where immigrants come into countries and, you know what I mean, they make the country better. Is a better country, is a richer country. They I would say that when migrants come into your country, they create, they innovate, they create jobs, everything. And countries who have less migration, you see, these countries are what they would call the most backward when it comes to innovation.
Mm.
Backward countries are, we call them underdeveloped
Mm.
countries
Something
who
there.
have
And
less
next thing to you
immigration.
know, Okavango. And next thing
That's
to
a
you know
better word to
is
use.
Which word?
The
underdeveloped.
underdeveloped, because a lot of these countries they've preserved their traditions, they preserve their customs, which
Mm.
is even
Which
serving
is,
them
Which is
well
not
yeah,
backward.
and
Which
when
is
we talk
not
about
backward.
in
develop,
this
we're talking
time.
about
Mm.
develop in the sense of like we call that
Technology and innovation.
yeah, what the West call develop.
Fire. And
Yeah.
next thing
Yeah.
to you know, like we have a parable in Jamaica where we just say, you turn your hand and make fashion. Right? You turn your hand and make fashion. So when you look at immigrants coming to these countries, some of them they come to the countries and they perform tasks that even in their country they would never do. In their own country where they're coming from, they would never do those jobs. They come to these other countries and
Not
they
that
do
they wouldn't do it, Dada. They wouldn't do it. Let anyone see them doing it.
it. Right?
They will have all type of nice names for it, like the
Mm.
janitorial assistant, the
Mm.
person who cleans the toilet. You know, they will have
Mm.
nice adjective
Titles,
to describe them.
titles.
Yes.
So what happened now is that these people who come and are in these jobs which are not particularly desirable jobs
Mm-hmm.
will take those jobs, and because they have a plan, right, they will utilize what they gain from these
As
jobs
a stepping stone.
to generate better, because they're already doing a job that they consider themselves that, listen, I shouldn't be doing this job. So that's another reason to why they become innovative as well, because they're in a position where they think, I am still not supposed to be here, but this, as Yaga says, is a stepping stone to getting me to where I need to be.
There's something in the human, inside the human, and I mean like it's hardwired in a human being when they immigrate to the country, something kicking inside them. Because just like you talk about the not so fancy job, you will have another person who were born and raised and been in that country forever doing the same job, and you see that immigrant take that same job and do wonders with it.
That's why we call
And
them
on
have
the
a
same
plan.
Do
Because them have a
wonders with that
plan.
job. Yeah.
and on the
Because they
same
have a
token,
plan. Mm.
and the same token, it is the worst thing that has happened to some people.
True,
Like
true,
like what?
true,
Immigration is the worst thing that has happened to some
true,
people, because
true.
when they immigrate, they find themselves in a place
Stuck,
and a situation that
stuck.
they find themselves stuck for 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. They can't
Mhm.
go forward, they can't move
Because of the
counter forward
regulations. Hmm.
because of the immigration policies and the issues.
Like
That's true too.
me not get that though.
For example, you have people who immigrate to countries, and based on their policies and regulations and legislations, they would describe them as illegals, right? That they are
Okay.
there illegally. So some people end up taking a more
Run foul
prolonged
of the law, basically.
they take a more prolonged period of time to regularize their immigration status, and
Mm-hmm.
because of that, it kind of messed them up. So you do have cases like that. You do have cases
Well,
like
You
that.
even have
I
people with
guess.
status
But
as
so
well. You
why
have
why
people with
those people
status
don't
who that happens to
why
as
they not go
well.
back
True that.
home?
True too. Hmm?
If it was so bad then, why they not go back home?
Because of the what you call it now, the stigma attached to that.
That is one. That is one. But they've got responsibilities of home that they need to take care of, and being at home, they won't be able to take care of that responsibilities like they are overseas, but they still fight on through the depression, they still fight on through the struggle, trying to find that American or that European dream same way.
And the
And when you
next
look,
thing to the next thing to is that sometimes we have this ideology, that like when we were talking to the young lady that did Barrel Children,
mhm,
um and she kept
Nadine
differentiating.
White,
Yeah, Nadine. She
big up
kept
Nadine White, barrier
differentiating.
children.
Yeah, man. She kept differentiating this, saying a better life versus access to great opportunity. I don't remember the exact terminology, but she made sure to differentiate that. And a lot of times in our minds, when we speak of these things, we describe it, or we refer to it in our minds as a better life. So people think that once they're in these places, they are living a better life. You understand? And that is one of the reasons why even when them must suffer, they must say, boy, me not go home, my brother. Cause, all right, I'll share an example. There's this co-worker. We were speaking about building a home in Jamaica. And I was telling him, yo, your brother build a nice house back home, you know, build something, set up something in my yard. Him say, him have to walk and eat out a garbage pan before him think for do that. So that will show you the mentality that a lot of people hold as it relate to these things. You get what I say? That because when you say
And
you
you
have to
can't
walk,
blame them
I
because
blame
them have
them.
an experience that inform that decision. Just imagine seeing you in our country for 10, 20, 30, some people longer. And we still are going with the barrier children
Mm.
the Windrush generation a few
Windrush.
years ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Mm-hmm.
you lose a loved one, you can't attend the funeral, you can't move. Them thing that hurt people. It hurt
Fine.
their emotions and it create an unnecessary stress that is added to the stress where them have got through already of having to run and hide and look over them shoulder, doing a job where them not even getting the sort of pay where them get if you would have do the job there in a normal circumstance if you regularize. And sometimes you can't find a job based on who you are because these are experiences that people are having within these places because there are structures and systems in place that designed to put you under that pressure and crush you like a cockroach as one policy in the UK. That was one of the policy that came out in the 2000 year 2010 from Theresa May at them time, who was the then Prime Minister. So a lot of these policies makes it difficult, but every now and then you find people who gets through the crack, people who are able to establish themselves, and they use that as a model to say, if that dada do it and Okavan got do it, you can do it. But in reality, the opportunities are not the same. The
Mm.
playing field is not the same,
Mm.
and the
I
struggles
think
are definitely
isn't it
not the same.
abundant.
isn't it
Um,
ironic
where
that the people that migrate the most and not just migrate with the most devastation are the people who are saying that they don't want migration in their country. I don't want to accept immigrants.
migrants. Mm.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, it comes
it's
down
it's
to the
funny.
ideology and your education because what some people describe as education, that is what has been informing their thinking, their decision making, and everything that they do. And they
Mm.
are doing it thinking that rightly so, this is the way to go because this is what the society expect of me, ignoring their own identity, ignoring their own heritage, ignoring their own culture. And we keep looking for these opportunities. And sometimes you feel that you meet that opportunity, you get that opportunity, but you keep going on that treadmill, still trying to satisfy those needs. So you find out that you don't even have any time to self or to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yes, I. Um, um, Big up those people tuned in on the YouTube. Big up Brother Delani active in the comments. He asks a question, and I just want to clarify this before we move forward. He's saying, where is the evidence of easier access for migrants? And I believe he's referring to access to opportunities. And I just want to clarify that we're not saying that migrants come to these countries and have easier access to the opportunities. We're comparing it to the place where they're leaving and to where they have migrated to. So when where they were originally, they were having challenges accessing opportunities. And when they go to the other place, they find that they have an easier access to the minorities. Not that in the country that they come to, as a migrant, you are given easier access to opportunities. So I just want to clarify that.
And sometimes that is in the mindset,
Mm,
They just think that the country that they are going to have some opportunity that is not in their country.
mm,
Because as I said earlier, you have people who leave their country to create a
mm,
business that someone else leave their country and create in their country. So they
mm,
could have created the same business in their country.
mm,
But sometimes a mindset, they feel like say, okay, I have to go to England to do this. I have to go to America to do this, or Canada to do this. You know what I mean? But you could
mm.
have end up doing it in whatever country you were
Given the
before.
opportunities.
And sometimes it's there, but you know what I mean, it just didn't take it.
Um, well, that is right. But like I said, now the reality of the reasoning now come to this, right? That the earth belongs to humans and plants and
Everything that live on the
animals
earth, man,
is for the earth, right? And as a result of that, no one set of people supposed to act like they want to prevent people from having access to the earth.
yes,
Because
I.
the reason why these things exist again is colonialism, because the reason why you have these borders is colonization. So that is another reason why you can see that this is definitely a result of colonization. Because if
Yes,
it
yes, this way I
wasn't
mean. Yes,
colonization,
yes, this way I
if it
mean.
was eh, eh,
Yes, yes, this. Yes, yes, this. What I mean.
like we're saying, where you don't have access to go to these countries.
Was the lack of
Understand?
access.
Right. So I'm saying
Okay.
that's another reason why we can say colonization play a big role in it again. Because a colonization create these quote unquote countries.
Yeah.
Because
And
them draw
borders.
the borders and say, this is this country, that is that country. You see me? So it's just sad. And on top of that, for no say, I really take these very people where you call immigrants now. And you go take with their resources, that if you had left them with their resources, them could have probably developed themselves and set themselves on a levels with that innovation, as you said. But no, you take it, have it over here, and when they might try to come here, so to gain access to it, you still are trying to set up
But
regulations
them
to
not only
prevent
take
them.
it that and then use it to develop their economies and develop their
That's right.
countries. So they
Mm-hmm.
can invest in research and technology.
Mm-hmm.
They can improve in innovation. And
Mm-hmm.
it appears now as if your country cannot do any of this because you
Any of
don't have
that,
the
right?
resources
And
to
Right.
and then
support
they
that.
make policies and use your resources to hold you down so
Mm-hmm.
you cannot rise. You know what I mean? If you try to
Mm-hmm.
rise, them say, boy, you cannot. They make up some kind of rule, reason why you cannot do it.
And when we started the reason, I did say that the ideologies that influence us, whether it is political, economical, or spiritual, that is where we are as a people now. Because if you don't think a certain way, or if you are not from a certain school of thought, then you find that you're on the wrong side. And if you're on the wrong side, then you become a victim of the established norms and the rules, the unilateral rules that govern the societies in which we are living. And we can see that playing out in the geopolitics of everything that exists today, where if we look in modern and recent time at the Cold War, it was a result of communism. And those who were aligned to the USSR compared to those who was aligned to the US, who became the dominant power after World War II, and Great Britain has fallen on its face. And we've seen the fall on the face of these empires and these kingdoms for centuries. It has been happening, and they all follow a certain pattern where they've overextended themselves by having military in a lot of countries and war going on a lot of front. And these things cost money. And if you're not producing and you don't have a producing base, it's gonna also affect your economy, because that is the pattern that happened to Spain in the 1500s, the 1600s, when them fall upon them face. Because remember, Spain was one of the country, the Spain real was one of the top currency, where everybody was using that, and people in Spain now work because they have so much gold and silver coming from the Inca and the Aztec as a result of the conquista that went on within them period of time. And you find out they were fighting wars on so many fronts, they couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford to
Mm-hmm.
maintain it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why them fall. The same reason why Britain fall. They had too many wars fighting in the Caribbean, in Africa, in India, all over. And it's
Mm.
during them kitchen, them have to borrow from America, them have to borrow from US. That's why US come to take over and be the dominant power. And them use the dollar to control countries in this time, yeah.
Mm.
So if you don't
Cause
align
are the same people that use the same model.
the same model,
Are the same people that use the
so
same
the
model.
same
Go
result
ahead,
is
go.
bound to happen.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So we just have to say free up the people, them, free up the people, free up the world, free up the earth, and stop going like you don't want for all the resources
Yeah.
away from the people, and going like only one set of people don't want to survive. Everyone have a right to survive. Everyone have a right to survival.
We need to tear the borders down.
Yeah, man.
Separating people from people. People need to
Mm.
experience other people.
Yes,
You
sir.
know how beautiful it is to have people in Iran, and you can go to Iran and experience the people of Iran, the way they live, and go to Thailand and experience the people of Thailand, go to Mozambique and experience the people of Mozambique, the way they live, and I
And
just know, say, I saw them live, and that's okay.
really, and next thing too, I watched a movie some time ago with Taraji P Henson and a next young man. I don't remember his name, but the name of the movie is Best of Enemies, and it's based on a true story, right? In I believe it's in Mississippi. I don't wanna, but it's in the south part of America, of the U.S., the south part of the U.S. And the plot of the movie is that they're going through this integration debate, and they're trying to decide if they should have integration in this particular area, because I believe the black school had suffered a fire, so the kids didn't have anywhere to go to school. So now they're forced now to say, okay, we're gonna have to use the same school for the blacks and the white kids, right? So what they did was they set up basically a panel. They have a different term they use for it in the movie. They set up a panel, and they use Taraji as one of the people for the panel, and they use this other man as the other. But the man is a leader of the Ku Klux Klan in the area. Now, The reason why I make reference to this movie is what you're saying in terms of being exposed to different peoples, how it can change your views and your positions. Because through doing this, Taraji was so against the man because of his history that she didn't even want to be on the same panel with him. And he, because of his history, did not want to be on the same panel with her. But at the end of it, right, because they were able to have communication and reasoning together, his view changed, her view changed, that they now became, why them call it the best of friends, but them term it as the best of enemies for the movie. You understand? That they were able, through communication and interaction, they were able to change their views and come to a common ground where they could coexist and live with each other
That's what
peacefully.
diplomacy does. That's what
Not just
diplomacy does, you know.
Mhm.
And the thing is, human beings are normally like that. Like,
Yeah, if given the chance, if
if
given the
given the chance.
chance.
Yaga, we not
Yeah,
hear
man,
you.
if given the chance.
We not hear Yaga.
I
Hear
hear
him?
him, I hear him, I hear him, I hear him,
I'm seeing more than what we not hear him.
I hear him,
But
man.
me I say human beings are like that. That's the government and the ruling people them are separate us
Yes,
because
sir.
them want because they benefit them financially to separate us. But human
Because
beings, go
again,
on.
the model, divide and conquer.
Yeah. Because
That is
Communist,
see a
when you
model.
check out it,
capitalist.
you come and say you grow on somebody from a different culture and you find out say them are those normal people where them just maybe them you like something over here, so like to eat something over here, so them like to eat something else. And sometimes people are try some of them thing and you like it, and them try some of your thing and you like it. And you find out say there's some normal human being that try to survive. And you find out say
Uh,
like the struggles them when you go through, them also go through it, not for them place too. Are them exist now where them come from to say if I don't say that's a
yeah, man.
human experience. But these
Experience, yeah.
governments now and them capitalist ways are them power hungry ways separate us and make we feel like say boy we are some different
We're
people and
different.
you know what I mean and people
That is the
buy into
ideology.
them thing there.
We are more
That is
alike
the
than we are different,
ideology.
man.
Yes man, way more alike than different.
That is the ideology where I are reason about. And if you look at it from a political perspective or economical perspective in a this time, yeah, you see even countries are forming alliance. There's a shift and a movement between countries to form blocks. And one such block is the BRICS, where you find the global south countries are coming together and they are using their own local currency to prevent the shock that is caused by the reserve currency and the tendency to be sanctioned and the tendency to be controlled as a result of these sanctions to the extent where you even see allies. Things are getting shaky among them now because when you look at NATO countries and the US, the NATO countries in Europe, they are pivoting and looking at China, even though they were criticizing a lot of countries to say that they shouldn't be looking in that direction as China because they are anti-communism. But they are all lining up to go to China and meet with Xi Jinping and make arrangements and make deals. But if a small country should go and pivot in that direction, they will come under a lot of scrutiny, they will come under a lot of pressure to the extent where they will rather to take away the aid that they normally give, the aid which normally restrict development in the country.
Maybe we are about to see a mass migration to China from Europe because China is slowly losing the population, you know. So hey,
Mm.
maybe that's the that's the new thing.
That's the new frontier.
Yeah.
It's ideologies at war, man, and economic values
Mm.
and principles at war, you know?
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah man,
Yeah,
people
man, but we just say that at the end of the day, like people supposed to have the right to go where
to
they want
move,
to go in the
man.
earth,
Right to
because
move.
the earth is for the people. The earth is for us who live on the earth. So no one's supposed to try for control and prevent access to anyone. And I see.
Yeah, man.
So
People if we can once a able man, people if we can move and experience different place. I don't know.
mm,
Cause it thing with you, man, you don't know the part of earth we are gonna like it most. You're there somewhere and
mm.
things say, boy, you like it, but you go somewhere else and wait. Say, wait, a long time for there, someone. And that I'm to
All
other
right,
people.
our next thing why I say to quite colonization is an issue towards all of this as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was really to keep their place a secret, why them establish these immigration policies and rules, Because guess what? When you look at a place like England, right, where dominate the whole globe, seeing dominate the whole globe. If people were able to go to England from those times and see how small England is in comparison to their places, them couldn't dominate them.
They wouldn't
Them
stand
couldn't
for it.
dominate them.
They
No,
wouldn't
they
have
couldn't
it.
dominate them. So that is the next reason. That's the next reason why them establish these policies, to
I
prevent
technically
people
can I
from
show
But
that
having
still I
access to them.
technically show that still no. Because
Mm,
a place like India, when them hear about England, them things are like it's a
massive.
massive place. You know what I mean?
because at that time, they were the most powerful kingdom at that time, and the pound was the pound in
Mm,
a them time. The pound
mm,
hold its weight in value. Because remember
mm,
in those time, it was still the gold standard.
Yeah.
So
mm.
everything was backed by gold them time. And them have the gold coming from Africa. Them have the sugar coming from the Caribbean. Them
West
have coffee
Indies.
that come from there. So them have cocoa that come from there. So and them have a lot of minerals who are coming, brother. So them have old everything. So they were the most powerful until them enter the war in a 1914 in a World War One, where them come out on the victorious side in a World War One. But then they preserved the monarchy, and the monarchy start getting shaky after that. And then they were fighting the next war, as you said, at the war front where them depend, which lead to them demise and the devaluing of their currency because they
Mm,
were spending more on military defense. England ruled 25% of the world, at the peak of them time, in terms of land mass. Them control
mm.
that.
If no more.
A quarter of the world.
Yeah,
If no
that's a little
more.
bit.
If no
So
more.
so them economy a boom.
Mm. But
And
but but
anybody
even
who
though you
try
say
to come in
them
the way or standing in the way of that, a war.
have a move, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
even
can
though you say
imagine a
them
place
money
like in
devalue, their money still strong in the brother. Cause when I strongest currency today,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can,
of
the
course it's
pound.
stronger than that still. Because if you
Yeah,
talk
but man
about
say them are still one of the
things
strongest.
like the Omani Real about 2 or 3 times more than the UK pound.
Mm.
You
but
talk about the Kuwaiti money. That money is stronger than them same way too.
Right, but man said them are still one of the strongest. The
Yeah,
pound are
no
still one of
doubt,
the
but
strongest.
it lose a lot of value and them lose a lot of power
imagine
when
Mm.
the colonies start breaking away.
imagine the UK, right? I talk about migration. That one country of talk about migration.
Mm.
Remember saying US, is created out of English people are migrating.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Australia,
Mm-hmm.
um, New
Yeah, the
Zealand,
credit that become the debtor.
Canada, a mass UK migration that
Migration. Mm.
make them country become like English speaking country.
Mm. I remember say before them a Rome come migrate, come build England. You know, say a
Okay.
Romans come migrate and build England.
The
So
Romans them
Now we see all of them.
and the Northman them, the Scandinavian
Normans.
Scandinavian
Mm.
them.
The whole of them
Mm.
collapse. The whole of them collapse, brother. The whole of them
Mm.
collapse. Because them all
Cause
follow
them
the
are use the
same
same
model.
model. All of them are use the same model.
The,
Even USSR
Mm.
brother collapse, man.
the all them Africa collapse.
All of them are
So
use the same
so we
model.
there. So that how you predict?
When I predict where I say if the pattern continues, you can see I know who is next in line. Because they are at an advanced stage now. It's not like say these
You're
are not the
guessing.
things that happen.
You're
The
seeing
history
it.
is there to show. The history is there to show the pattern
Yes, sir.
of what happened to all
Mm.
powerful country who believe that power never ends.
Mm.
They
I
miscalculated
said,
all the time.
I said, I said, power corrupts absolutely, absolute. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
That's why now you see the pivot where the move is to make America great again.
Mm.
That is why the move is there to make America great
Yeah.
again. Now, what we see happening in Cuba is diabolical, and no one is talking
Mm.
about that.
You
Well,
are
you
talking
know
about
the church class is here now
you are
to
talking about it.
expose the church class is here to expose the
These things.
injustice and the inequality we are going in our
Mm.
society. You know,
Yes,
we
sir.
know this are work, you know, easy work, and not everybody work. But we are say, just embrace your own ideology, embrace your own philosophy, and don't
Yes,
only
sir.
believe in that which they taught you in school to be the
True.
only school of thought,
Yes, sir. Give
because you could be
thanks.
very misguided in your
Yeah,
thoughts,
man.
you
Give
know, in
thanks.
your
And
understanding.
give thanks to the one them who join the reasoning, man. Big up African goddess, always active, you know. Big up Brother
See,
Delany. Big up Ricardo Collins. Yeah, man. I say energy go, you know. Give thanks, you know. And big up the chat mates, them.
yeah, man.
One perfect chat class, man. Make sure you like, share,
Mm,
and subscribe. You
Immigration
know,
is
yeah.
if
beautiful,
you
man.
like the reasoning
Mm,
or one of the reasoning touch you, just subscribe, man. Share the channel
mm,
with some people to make the channel grow, because you
mm.
know, see, that's how the algorithms work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
work
And
where
say
we are doing.
like,
Ricardo Collins drop a shot in there in the comments of a Boris Kodjo interview where he's talking about colonialism. So would I advise people to check that one out, you know, see, because he uses a very interesting analogy to explain colonialism and the effects of colonialism, you know. So you can check it out.
hype, and share.
Yes, sir.
That's helpful.
Yeah, man. You know, see, I know easy work we are doing, brother, because nobody know want to do them work here, because everybody is trying to do what they think is right in a competition where they're trying to satisfy their own needs that society say these hierarchy of needs to be met, and we are going about it in an individualistic way. So you find that the
Mm,
competition is really hyped and
gotcha.
increased, where we're trying to survive. Each one's trying to survive, and each one trying to outdo the other on this treadmill in achieving these hierarchy of needs, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Give thanks to the moment, man, and big up on them journey, same way, you know.
Mm.
Yes, sir. One perfect balance chart class. You know, we touch upon every little thing every now and then. So there's something there for everyone, you know? And don't
Yes,
be
sir.
afraid to blaze the fire where you are in your own little way if you don't brave enough to come in at the chat class and share your opinion. We can also block out your video, you know. You don't have to appear on video. You can only appear on audio if you intend to join the chat class and you're not confident enough to share your opinion with the world and let the people see your ideology and why you are free, you know?
Mhm. Yes, I give thanks. It's
They
serious.
Like
say,
that? Or another more?
nice shift that, you know.
I look like they want to touch Cuba.